Hey everybody, Andrew Anderson from OVROUT. Want to share a little about my background and the brand and what the message entails with finding a way over, through, and out to the other side of your obstacles. So, I'm Andrew Anderson from Ukraine. Was born there, spent early part of my childhood growing up there, bouncing between New York, Jersey, the States, and back over there. Still have family there, and growing up, immigrant family, we were not well off, but God bless my mom. She did everything she could to take care of us and provide the best life possible. Growing up that certain way, I think instilled a work ethic in me, a sense of not just settling back and just letting things come to you. I saw my mom firsthand go out there and get it time and again, overcoming obstacles day after day, setbacks, you name it. And I think that work ethic stuck with me over time. And I've had my ups and downs, but I want to share just some of the raw truth about myself and, my struggles and my demons and overcoming those, and why I'm so passionate about you doing the same thing, finding your purpose, your dream, and actually getting after it. So let's go. Growing up, like I said, we didn't have a lot of money, and I never really understood certain things until I got older, but God bless my mom for trying to take care of us. I think that influenced certain things in my life. I want to say I lashed out and probably wasn't the easiest kid to raise, and I apologize for that. But I developed a drinking problem at 13, started sleeping around with girls at the same age, getting in fist fights, just being a degenerate, right? Boys with big boys kind of thing. And I'm lucky I walked that path. I saw people go off far left, far right. That could have been me, and luckily it wasn't. But the older I became, the worse my drinking got. And that really drove me, right? Down a dark hole. And around 2011, I met somebody when I lived in Little Rock, Arkansas, that introduced me to CrossFit. And I was so blown away by it. And I was kind of intimidated at first, because here I was, this guy that only cared about, the pleasure, women, drinking, smoking, that was it, right? And then I saw this thing in front of me that was being healthy and eating well and taking care of yourself, and it was a complete 180 in my life. And I gotta say, I fell in love with it. And then, I wanted to serve in the military at the time, so the two just married together so well. And it took a step back from it for years. I ended up enlisting. It was one of the best things I could have ever done, right? It helped me grow immensely as a person. It helped validate who I thought I was and who I could be. But at the same time, it also exposed some of my ugliness and my darkness. And I know I wasn't the best person at times, and I'm not proud of that, right? But we learn and we grow. I had a period where my drinking got really bad, and thankfully, I came out on the other side of it, and I'm grateful, but it was not something I'm proud of, right? I mean, it controlled me to the point where I remember sitting at the bar one night, looking at myself in the mirror with a drink in my hand, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just absolutely hated who I was. Couldn't stand to look at myself. And I knew I was destined for more, and I wanted to just move and run away and be somebody else, and I physically couldn't. And I experienced that for a long time, and I just kept pushing. Andrew, you're gonna get better. Andrew, you will find a way, get a purpose, right? Get a purpose, do something, and I did eventually. And joining the military was that thing that saved my life, I think. And then I had another dream. I wanted to be a special forces soldier, right? That was something I wanted to do since I was a kid. So I started training up for selection in the Army, so they call it SFAS, and I passed, and I was elated, right? Here I was on the path to my next dream. It was like living on cloud 9 every day. It was the greatest feeling ever, except one thing. I was hurt, so I had a medical thing going on, and for about 12 months I dealt with it on medicine, profile, finally get better, right? And went down to the Special Forces qualification course. I spent about 6 months down there between an NCO school that they have, phase 1, a couple of holds, and I was having marital problems, and I ended up leaving the course to save my marriage. And it was the hardest, best choice I ever did, right? It was the hardest because I felt like a complete failure. And one sergeant major came up to me when I was out processing the Q course, and he said, son, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, whenever, you're gonna be surrounded by family. You might be on your deathbed, and you're gonna see your wife, hopefully, your kids, your grandkids, team guys aren't gonna be there. He said that tab, that beret, that's important, but they won't be there like your family will. And he goes, I know it's hard, but you're making the right choice. And it stuck with me, and I didn't really know what to say, but I'm grateful for that, man. So thank you. But then I started to spiral again. And thankfully I wasn't drinking, right? So I'd stopped drinking in 2013 after I passed selection. And I went into a dark hole. It got bad, and I almost ended it. And thank God for a friend of mine that was there and brought me back. And I was just in a funk, and thankfully my wife and I stuck it out, and I was able to turn around, and I spent the rest of that time in the 82nd Airborne, which was an amazing place to be, and it helped me grow up and get past a lot of my own bullshit. I know at times I probably wasn't the nicest person to be around because I was struggling and dealing with my own things. I didn't know how to articulate that to others. And the guys that I served with, those of them that know me very well, I think knew I had some problems going on, but not the extent of it. I had a platoon sergeant and a squad leader that absolutely just cared. And I appreciate both of you for helping out as much as possible. And from there, it just, I kept pushing, went back to school, stayed sober. I got out of the military, and I get into construction in New York City. I go to school, I'm working 40 hours a day plus. I'm going to school at night, 21 credits a semester. I graduate dual honors, right? I'm ecstatic. I'm a sales rep in the construction industry, working hard. We have kids. We have one kid. We have a home we just buy. Started OVROUT. I'm on cloud nine, right? And then boom, I get let go at the end of the year from that sales job. We just bought a house, right? We'd saved up some money, so thankfully we had a cushion. I built a huge market for this company, and then COVID hit, and just the savings are drained. We're financially strapped, and this is not uncommon, right? But what do? You persevere. At the same time, I'm still just trying to grow OVROUT. I'm going through a funk personally. Financially, the business wasn't doing well. I just wasn't doing the right things. I was adrift. I had no sense of purpose, but I believed in this message of finding a way over through it now. And I fucking did. And I continued to persevere and just drive on, right? And we get out of COVID, and I'm still floundering around, right? What am I doing with this brand? And I started to get serious again about being healthy and hitting the gym, and CrossFit still was a thing that I wasn't sure about. But I knew what I wanted this company to look like. I had this vision, but I was too scared to follow it. What if people didn't like it? What if they said, oh, you're abandoning what you've always been doing, right? So I just kept at it. In the meantime, building my professional career, I left the construction industry, doing something totally different. We have a second kid. And just OVROUT, just fucking tanks, man. All I could do was laugh. And it was a really dark period for me mentally. I didn't know what to do. And I just felt like a loser. I felt like everything that I'd preached and done and said and built up just didn't work out. And there I am, right? I'm like, am I a fraud? Am I walking around talking about these things that don't matter? And that vision was still there in the back of my head. And I said, you know what? Life's too short. Listen to your own advice. So I did. I pivoted. I took that hard ride. And I went back to what made me feel good, what I want to be known for, what I want this business to be known for. And that's where we're at today. And that was earlier this year. I gotta tell you, it's been amazing. I'm happy. Up to 225, I'm feeling amazing. Besides that, the content, the business is what I want it to be known for. Anybody can sell t-shirts. Anybody can make shorts, not as good as ours, but that's another story. But anybody can get out there and say, please buy my stuff. What is it that you want to be known for? I want to be known for a brand that inspires people to overcome, to persevere, to build that dream, to find a way over, through, and out. And I want to be somebody that's not just talks it, but lives it. And I like to think I've lived that. And I want to think I'm going to continue to live that. And you know what? Thank you from me to all of you for sticking by. Your support means everything. Go out there and fucking crush it.